Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard, everybody. It is Thanksgiving week. That's right, at least here in the U.S. It is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. This is live stream 989. Ooh, tricky there, huh? If you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And normally we will take a first look at a game, be it a board game or a role-playing game. And every once in a blue moon, I actually share a live review on the show. Well, tonight, we are going to dive in and take a first look at the second edition of Brass Empire from Rock Manor Games. So that is what we've got on the agenda for tonight. This is, as far as I understand, a steampunk deck building game. Interesting. I will point out I had an opportunity to play some Maximum Apocalypse over the weekend with the gang, and that is also from Rock Manor Games. Stay tuned for a review. Well, hopefully. We'll discuss that in just a bit. Of course, if you are tuning in because you want to check out the live first look at the second edition of Brass Empire, do want to let you know that we tackle the tabletop gaming news first around here. So it'll probably be about 40 minutes or so before we get into that first look, because there are a couple of details I want to get into currently happening both here at the Gaming Gang and having nothing to do with the Gaming Gang, but having to do with tabletop gaming media, I guess we'll say. We'll get to that in just a bit. But if you are tuning in because you want to check out that first look, just relax, kick back, put your feet up. I know it's only Tuesday, but it's a holiday week. I'm sure you're stressing out about family and friends. Most people do. It happens. It's a natural thing. So enjoy. We'll get to the first look. Don't worry. But if you happen to be one of those impatient types and you're not watching this live, let's say if you're watching this 30 minutes or more after the show is ended, there will be timestamps. So you'll be able to skip past the tabletop gaming news. Boo! Because there is some cool news as always. But you'll be able to jump right on into Brass Empire 2E, and those timestamps will be located in the show notes, or depending on the device you might be watching this on, right there in the timeline of the video itself. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live show, so if you are tuning in and hanging out, there is chat available. Now, it's Not available to everybody watching. No, you have to be a subscriber, and you must be a subscriber for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. It's a couple of ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. So first out the gate tonight is Typical DM. Oh, look at that. It's usually the Madman, or every once in a while it's Kathy Evans, who both happen to be hanging out with us in chat also. And we've also got Lord Koss 2000. So welcome aboard, everybody. I'm going to take a guess that tonight and tomorrow night, probably a bit quieter than usual, because for one, it is Thanksgiving week, at least here in the US. So I know some folks out there, they're traveling. And I am looking at board games. So I have noticed that when I take a first look at role-playing games, we do pull in a lot more viewers. Yeah, just the way it goes, just the way it goes. And of course, you've already noticed I'm kind of skewing heavier towards tabletop role-playing games than I do board games these days. Anyway, for a variety of different reasons, mainly because it's very difficult for me to get together with the gang enough times to rack out reviews in a timely manner as far as board games go. So there is that. The Madman says, the gaming news is the appetizer before the main meal. Normally around here it is. That is for certain. And if another of our chat moderators, Sarah D, happens to be hanging with us, howdy. If not, I'm just working my wrist out, that's all. So let's jump on into the news, because returning, I'm not sure if this is a new print run or if this is just the first time it's appearing, because the information I've got floating around there doesn't make it clear. But I do know that this did successfully crowdfund for Raybox Games. And yes, I am talking about Escape from Stalingrad Z. Why did we suddenly... You know, I just got rid of this. This is from the other day. No, I just went through and checked all this stuff. For crying out loud. All right, let's see what's going on here. That is super, super weird, because this image that I'm showing you right now is the first image of this news piece, yet in the actual drive, it is showing up as the second image. Very, very strange. Very, very strange. And I am showing that we're dropping frames again tonight, so I don't know. You know what? I swear, I think it's a YouTube thing lately, because YouTube has not been playing nicely with streams as of late. So usually we're not jumping all over the place, although it does look like maybe things have kind of smoothed out. Well, before I jump back in this news piece, I guess I will say hello to Sarah D. Yes, she is with us, as is Roger Perdome. Very nice. Anyway, let's talk about Escape from Stalingrad Z. Stalingrad, winter 1942. Amid the bloodiest battle of the 20th century, the hungry dead have arisen. In a matter of days, two of the strongest armies the world has ever known are shattered, torn apart by an impartial, implacable foe. The corpse city on the Volga is cut off, occupied by the undead and a few, rapidly dwindling number of living people. No longer can nationality or ideology, but only survival. Survival and escape. The MG-42 rips a short burst from its window nest, sighting down ghouls in the street in front of you. An agent cracks sharply, and the bloated obscenity that used to be your medic bursts apart in a cloud of green mucus. That's the signal to go. Shoving back brick rubble aside, you and the big Siberian charge, PPSH and Schmeiser firing as one. Ghouls tumble, howling and reaching for you, all splintered fingers and yellow teeth. The headshot ones stay down, but you must finish the others with axe and shovel, e-tool and boot. Finally, it is over. The crossroad is clear, but the sun is sinking. The sun is sinking behind the shell-pocked facade of the Zerzinski Tractor Works. What will you do next? Head towards the Volga and try to escape that way? Perhaps the airfields or the rail lines are still open. Maybe heading west is the best bet. You must choose a path. Escape from Stalingrad Z is a solo/co-op campaign game of tactical combat which is set in the horrific zombie plague of World War II. The year is 1942 and the city is Stalingrad. Your survivors are veteran soldiers fighting to stave off the zombie hordes in a war-torn wasteland while finding a way to escape from the decimated city. They must work together to find the best path, each scenario giving them options on which way to go next. The player's choices determine the fate of their heroes. The game plays out over a series of linked scenarios that form a campaign. Each previous scenario in the campaign will affect the start of the next, creating an ongoing story. Escape from Stalingrad Z is available now. It is for 1 to 3 players. Once again, keeping in mind it's designed as a solitary game. It's for ages 14 and up and plays in around 20 to 40 minutes per scenario. The base edition, which comes with standees, which you're seeing some standees here, does carry an MSRP of $49.95. If you want to go all in and grab the deluxe edition, which includes miniatures, that carries an MSRP of $179. Well, I got to say, this looks kind of cool, kind of interesting. Yes, I know World War Z, zombies in World War II is not a new concept, but zombies in the pretty much decimated city of Stalingrad with the Germans and Russians teaming up to survive, that is different. That is something a little new. So I thought, yeah, that looks kind of cool. I'm going to share some news about it. So Man says video froze a bit there, but the audio is fine. I've noticed that is what we're seeing a lot of. That is what we're seeing at least the past couple of weeks. That is what I have seen with these live streams. It goes on the whole show, and I don't know. I don't get it. Now, if you'd like, I can take a moment here, and I will actually go and run a quick test. Although, to be honest, since I'm doing a stream, I don't know how effective this test is going to be, but it's just going to take a few seconds for it to run. Wow, this is good content, huh? Whew, it's so exciting. Hey, at least you're getting to check the game stuff, the images. It's not just my face. It is YouTube. It is YouTube. There is absolutely no packet loss or late packets or late uploaded packets as far as this internet connection. So it is a YouTube issue, which is exactly what I was figuring it probably was. I don't know. It's kind of funny because YouTube wanted more streamers. They wanted more live streamers. They wanted to take a bite out of the Twitter audience, or not Twitter, Twitch, I should say, audience. Yet, past couple of weeks, not too good, not too good. Kevin R. Smith is with us in chat. So good to see you, Kevin. Typical DM says, this looks like an interesting game. There's lots of zombie games out there, and I welcome them all. Yeah, I dig it as well. So Typical DM also had pointed out that the news is their favorite portion of the show. Interestingly enough, you are not alone. There are quite a few people out there who, I mean, they hang out for the first looks and things like that, but it's the news that they want to catch because I tackle things that they may not run across from other outlets, such as Escape from Stalingrad Z. There is a new bundle of holding moving right along, which has arrived, and it features the role-playing games of designer Kevin Crawford and Sine Nomine Publishing. I've got the deets on the deal. Adventurer. This new Sine Nomine Core Books bundle presents the complete deluxe editions of Worlds Without Number and Stars Without Number, along with Wolves of God, Silent Legions, and other tabletop role-playing game rulebooks by acclaimed designer Kevin Crawford of Sine Nomine Publishing. From 7 past offers, they've assembled 7 complete standalone rulebooks with a huge array of system-independent sandbox gaming tools. Easily generate kingdoms and AIs, planets and pantheons, cults and factions, monsters and mechs, dungeons and starships. Yeah, that could be a role-playing game. And tons more. These tools make creation easier for even the most experienced game master. They make a great gift for a role player new to Sine Nomine Games as well. Just so you know, to give a bundle of holding as a gift, log out of your current browser session, then you can actually purchase the offer using the recipient of that gift's email address. Pretty easy. So for just $12.95, you'll get all 3 complete rule books in the starter collection as DRM-free PDFs, including Stars Without Number, the revised deluxe edition, the post-apocalypse Stars Without Number spin-off Other Dust, plus the free supplements Grandfather's Reign, Cult of the Still Lady, and Cult of the Wraith, and the African fantasy Spears of the Dawn. As a convenience, you will also receive the free version of Kevin's latest work, the cyberpunk game Cities Without Number. And if you pay more than the current threshold price of $26.33, and yes, that is the current threshold price, unless it changed in the last 45 minutes, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 4 more rule books worth an additional $75, including the complete Worlds Without Number Deluxe Edition, Wolves of God, Adventures in Dark Ages England, the one-on-one fantasy role-playing game toolkit Scarlet Heroes, and the horror role-playing game Silent Legions. These savings will run through December 11th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Benzie Food Partners, a nonprofit Feeding America food bank, which serves the county of Honor, Michigan, which is where Kevin Crawford resides. Pretty sweet. So I've got to say, even if you were looking at not going just with the starter, if you were going with the entire collection, $26.33, you want to keep in mind, just say Worlds Without Number, the deluxe edition, the PDF's $19.99. So on top, or the same with, say, Stars Without Number, the deluxe revised edition, same thing, $19. Now, granted, yes, I do understand there are people out there who say, oh, wait, hey, you know, Kevin Crawford releases free versions of these games. Now, I don't know if he's released free versions of all of them. I know Stars Without Number, Worlds Without Number, and Cities Without Number. But keep in mind, they include no artwork outside of maybe the cover. And there is additional content in the paid PDFs. So there is that. I got to be honest, I would love to see these as physical books. I have never gotten on board with Sine Nomine Publishing. I don't think Kevin Crawford really cares about reviews and that. which is fine. That's absolutely cool with me. But I've never really dove into any of his role-playing games, and I have always heard really, really good things about them, even if you just use them as toolboxes or toolkits for other role-playing games. So like Worlds Without Number for fantasy role-playing games, or Stars Without Number with, say, Traveler, science fiction role-playing games, things like that. Kevin R. Smith says, I picked up the starter collection of this. It had 2 games I didn't have, while I had almost all of the level up titles. So Stars Without Number, Scarlet Heroes, Worlds Without Number, and Wolves of God are awesome. Wolves of God is hilarious to read, even if you never play it. Well, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought it had been humorous. Kevin also points out he doesn't think Wolves of God has a free version. I don't think the African role-playing game, and which is Spears of Dawn or something like that, I just said. Spears of the Dawn, I guess it would be. And I don't think Other Dust has a free edition, nor does Scarlet Heroes. But kind of cool. Typical DM says they don't dive into anything which is not a printed book. The product is a big part of the joy, they guess. PDFs. I mean, I won't shoot video reviews of PDFs, which is something that I think Paizo Inc. wants with their reviews of the new core books, the Player Core and Game Master Core. Yeah, it's not Dungeon Master, we know that. But I haven't seen the physical books yet. I don't think any of the reviewers have. So it's kind of funny. Kind of like, well, we don't want you using the physical books for your reviews. We want you to use just images and stuff. But I don't think any reviewers actually have gotten the physical books as reviewers. They may have as, subscribers to Paizo, but kind of weird. Kind of weird. Moving right along, now available in print and PDF, is Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow from the Merry Mushmen. Here's the scoop. The Merry Mushmen's first adventure module. A new, expanded, OSRized, prettified edition of Joseph R. Lewis's Ragged Hollow Nightmare, which was rated among the best by Bryce Lynch of 10-Foot Pole. We'll talk about that in just a sec. Joseph Lewis hit a perfect balance between the classics of Dungeon-verse fantasy and the whimsy of the folk tales we love so much, as testified by the folklore bestiary that the Merry Mushmen released last year, adding a dash of dream world strangeness and a pinch of body horror to spice up the brew. The Merry Mushmen did their very best to respect this recipe when adding their own extra material. About 30 pages of it. They worked with Joe and Leanne, the perfect artist, to give life to spooky Ragged Hollow and its strange surroundings, to make the best module they could. A solid introduction to old school gaming for both players and game masters. And for the veterans among us, it also makes an excellent full-fledged campaign starter. Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow is a sandbox adventure centered around a quaint town at the edge of the kingdom. The town lies between places where you shouldn't be traveling alone. Places like Gloamwood, a witch or two lurk there. The Bleak Mountains, I'm told there are bugbears. And the infamous Mount Morn, home, they say, to cursed dwarven ruins. Not to mention the Wailing Hills, bandits on every road. There's even a haunted house by the river. That mad inventor rigged it with traps. But only when an impenetrable dome of golden light materializes around the Temple of Halcyon. Hey, my kids go to school there. Do things really get out of hand? Some selfless heroes, or failing that, a bunch of greedy ne'er-do-wells, should really get involved. This 80-page A5 softcover with PDF of Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow is available for an MSRP of 25 euros, about $25. Or you can grab just the PDF alone for 15 euros from themerrymushmen.com. I have to admit, every once in a while I will share a news piece from the Merry Mushmen because it looks like they've got cool stuff. I have never actually delved into anything. In fact, I could have swore at some point somebody at that company reached out to ask me if I wanted to review anything, and I said, yeah, sure, and nothing ever arrived. I think that was this company. I might be wrong, but I thought it was. But regardless, this looks pretty cool. And as they mentioned, Bryce Lynch liked it. And if you are not familiar with 10-Foot Pole, it is a website that features old school Renaissance adventures, and Bryce does reviews. And if you think I drop F-bombs from time to time, he is like an F-bomb factory, and he is not easily pleased, I gotta say. But strangely enough, I'm going to throw my 2 cents out here. And I don't know Bryce. I have read his reviews and things like that, and I'm like, yeah, pretty good. I mean, and he's actually exposed me to various adventures I would have never heard of. But he rips on people for their presentation and things like that, yet he doesn't spell check, nor does he check his grammar. And I sit there, sometimes I'm reading his reviews, and they can be very entertaining. And I'll sit there and think, well, isn't that a little hypocritical, man? You're sitting there talking about how, oh, yeah, it's not all that easy to read such and such adventure. And then it's like, yeah, but sometimes reading your reviews, it takes a couple of moments for your brain to click, oh, that's what he's trying to say. But if he says it's pretty good and you are an OSR fan, it's usually pretty good. Mary Smith is with us. Thank you very much. And he shot off a super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you kindly. 245 Trioxin is with us, as is our third chat moderator. Flaming Huron is with us. I think I have said hello to everyone. If I have not, I apologize. 245 Trioxin says they've got a physical copy. They were reading it at work today. I believe they might be talking about Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow. And Mary Smith said they got this recently as well. Very nice. Final news piece, now available in PDF, is Outgunned, cinematic action role-playing game from Two Little Mice. Here's the latest. Outgunned is a cinematic action role-playing game inspired by the classics of the genre, from Die Hard to True Lies, passing through James Bond, Atomic Blonde, Kingsman, Ocean's 11, Hot Fuzz, and John Wick. It's amazing how Hot Fuzz gets mentioned as often as it does as inspiration for horror role-playing games that take place in small towns in England and action movies. Kind of interesting. In Outgunned, players take on the role of action heroes facing terrible odds. They'll be constantly surrounded by enemies while trying to carry out their mission, be it robbing a casino or saving the day. Outgunned features a game system called Director's Cut, a set of mechanics using small pools of 6-sided dice to determine the outcome of the hero's actions. When rolling dice, your goal is not to score the highest or lowest possible number, but to roll 2, 3, and 4 of a kind. Yahtzee! You can score the 224-page PDF of Outgunned over at Drive-Thru RPG for $19. I should also point out, I think I'll be sharing Another outgun news piece, Tomato. Merry Smith says, oh, if this is the two little mice that made Household, it has my interest. Yes, that's how it garnered my interest. Even though I've never had a chance to look at Household, it does look impressive. I've heard good things about it. This is the latest role-playing game from Two Little Mice. So they have Household and Outgunned. All right, that is it for the news tonight. So real quickly, I do want to mention that in the same vein as Outgunned, I've said this a few times before in the past, but I'll say it again. I wish somebody would get the rights to the James Bond role-playing game that was released by Victory Games back in the 80s. Now, granted, you know they're not going to get the James Bond license, but it probably wouldn't be that difficult to license out the rest of it. And yes, I get it. Mechanics can't be copywritten and stuff like that, but still, I would like to see somebody tackle a game of, say, espionage and action with the James Bond role-playing game from Victory Games, because I have to say, and yes, I know there's the rose-colored glasses of nostalgia, I still think that system would work today. I really do. I think it would do well today as far as being relatively modern mechanics, because it wasn't just your D&D knockoff by any stretch of the imagination. And actually, Victory Games made quite a few adventures for James Bond 007, and they came in little boxes. It's kind of cool, like half-inch boxes. Like we talk about the Call of Cthulhu 1-inch box, same thing, but it was like a half-inch. And the original James Bond role-playing game came in like an inch box too. Just wanted to float that out there. Anywho, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Of course, keep in mind the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you are going to visit Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, what have you, by all means, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. We'll talk at a little more length about this in just a moment, because you're actually doing far more than just buying me, say, oh, I don't know, a 2-liter bottle of soda these days. Your donations actually help put thegaming.com back on track. And I'll talk about that in just a couple of moments. But for those of you out there who do visit gaminggang.com and use our banner ads, or stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang, thank you very much. Big tip of the cap. It is tremendously appreciated. So once again, if you're not real familiar with the show, maybe you haven't watched in a while and you're tuning in, the laptop that I do 90% of the work involved with the Gaming Gang overall, not just the videos, the website itself, bought the farm. It took a dirt nap. It gave up the ghost. So I am in the midst of trying to fundraise for a new laptop computer. I've got the one that I'm interested in that I think is actually future-proof as well. So it isn't something that a year from now, all of a sudden it's going to be like, damn, I can't run programs I need to run anymore. So keep that in mind. And of course, people are making donations through paypal.me/thegaminggang. And I do want to share big thank yous to the Madman, Roger Perdome, Scott B. Smith, Joshua Edwards, Elwin Skelly, William Arenz, Crowbar Creative, Polk Hammock Press, or Hummock Press, I should say, which I was totally blown away by because all I've done is shared a news piece about one of their adventures. I think it was an adventure, role-playing adventure, or it was a role-playing system. No, I think it was an adventure, which I guess they're sending along. So got that. So very, very cool. Also, Robert Hodell and Stephen Quisenberry, as well as Hector, I believe it's Stafford, if I remember the last name correctly. Thank you all very, very much. We are actually past the halfway mark of because it's $1,000 goal. Because I believe if I can raise $1,000, I can cover the rest for the laptop, because there are some improvements that I would make to it with a solid state drive and an additional solid state drive, additional memory. Once again, as I mentioned, looking to future proof it. We are at $621. Woo! Thank you, everybody. The game plan is to try to get a deal on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sometime in that period, because I have been informed through the grapevine, not that it may not turn out to be true, that the laptop that I've got my eye on from Lenovo is going to be on sale for, I think, $1,100 plus tax, plus the upgrades I want to make. So there is that. So if you have pitched in, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I'm really, really blown away. Now, I know there are people out there, I mean, times are tough. I get it. I certainly understand that. So if you can't make a donation or anything, I understand. It's not like I'm sitting there going, well, how come so-and-so hasn't made a donation? They watch all the time. No, not at all. But this is what I would ask you to do. If you're unable to make a donation, watch videos on the channel. Be sure to give them thumbs ups, comment on them. Because as I pointed out before, it shows engagement. Engagement leads YouTube to share videos with more strangers than if you don't comment on videos, if you don't give it a thumb rating. Hell, if you want to give it a thumbs down, you can give it a thumbs down. It shows engagement. And more people who watch, more pennies I get from YouTube. So that helps. Doesn't cost you a dime. Tell your friends about the Gaming Gang if they're not aware of the Gaming Gang. If you're on social media, retweet or repost the social media posts that I've shared with people about the laptop, or just share the Gaming Gang itself on social media. That helps out a lot too. So I get it. I get, not everybody has extra nickels to rub together these days. I understand. Plus, the holiday season's coming up, which makes it even rougher on folks. So I completely understand. And that's why, like I said, I am just so gobsmacked, which I never use that word, but I do know the definition of it, by the generosity of all these folks out there. Thank you so very, very much. Flaming Huron says, like, comment, and subscribe. There you go. Can't get much easier than that. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, and I'll try to make it quick. I'm not sure if how many of you out there had seen what was going on with Rodney Smith, who does the Watch It Played channel? Isn't that it? You know me, I don't watch other outlets. I'm too busy doing this stuff. So anyway, and I have never personally met Rodney. I have seen him at umpteen conventions and that. And there's been times where he was talking to somebody and I was getting there for an interview, right? So I was the next person in their queue to talk with, right? But I've never actually, had a conversation with Rodney Smith. And there's also another person who covers tabletop games here and there. By the way, his name is David Levitt. I don't know him at all. Nothing about him. But I guess, from what I have understood, and by the video that Rodney Smith has shared, so I'm not just going on, essentially, I'm not going to get into every detail about this, but essentially, David Levitt has said that Rodney Smith might be a Trumper, a gun nut, an Islamophobe, and I guess it's like, I guess, and when people pushed back at him about it, not Rodney, I'm talking about this David Levitt character, he said, well, I didn't say he is, I'm saying he might be, and that Rodney should reach out to this guy to I guess clear the air. Now, what? Like, the hell's what? Why would he have to contact this guy? This guy is, granted, he's got like 300,000 followers on Twitter, or I'm sorry, it's not Twitter anymore. It's like, okay, like I said, so I don't know either of them. But as I tweeted earlier today, I have never heard anyone in the tabletop gaming industry say a bad word about Rodney Smith. I've never heard it. And yes, the Madman says, yes, it is Watch It Played. I thought that's what it is. But like I said, I don't watch Dice Tower. You guys know this. I don't watch other outlets. I'm too busy. And it's not just I'm too busy doing stuff for the gaming gang. There are things in life that I need to take care of. So I'm too busy with that too. I don't have the luxury of just kicking. Not that I wouldn't watch. Yeah, sure I would. But that's also time coming away from me doing things I need to do or working on stuff for the gaming gang, right? So anyway, I have never heard anybody in the tabletop gaming industry say anything negative about Rodney Smith. I have never heard anybody in the tabletop gaming industry say anything about David Levitt, as in, who the fuck is this guy? And yes, I get it. He was following me on Twitter. I followed him back. It's funny because Rodney points out something about this in his 2-minute video, which is only, I believe, only on Twitter, because he posted it to Twitter. But, so David Levitt followed me, I followed him back, and I guess it's some sort of like a scam kind of thing that some social media folks do, is they'll follow people and then, oh, hey, you share a common interest, so the account that got followed follows back, and then after a few days, the original follower unfollows. So, but I will say David Levitt was still a follower of mine up until earlier today when I blocked him after hearing about what was going on with Rodney Smith. And he had actually liked and commented on stuff in the past on the gaming gang. So it wasn't just he followed me and then, dropped it. But still, I don't know who this guy is. I do see a lot of what I tend to call online crusading, which I'm sorry, I don't know how you feel about this, but I am so fucking tired of people who sit there and every time you turn around, they're they're like making a stand, like, I think Nazis are bad. Vast majority of us do. But all they do is tweet or post on social media about it. There's no real skin in the game. Be like people tweeting out, support your local food bank. Yet they've never made any sort of a donation of time or energy to a local food bank. You know what I'm talking about. This guy kind of strikes me like that. Sort of strikes me a little, because it's a lot of things like that. So what I actually really think all in all is, for one, it takes a lot of nerve to accuse somebody of something that's repellent or vile without any sort of proof, right? Because when people pushed back, he's like, well, I don't know he's Islamophobic. I don't know he's a Trumper or a gun nut. Okay, so for one, that would not be any of David Levitt's business in the first place. Because I'm sorry, but we are never going to get to the point where you can police people's thoughts. Just tain't happening, Dooley. And if you think by calling people out on social media for things you think might be the case, you got fucking problems. You got a lot of nerve doing that. Really do. So Flaming Heron says, people saying things from the comfort of their keyboards that they aren't likely to say to anybody's face. Yes. Man says they blocked David as well. Says they've seen some questionable things from him on Twitter in the past. Really, the only thing I have mainly seen is him like socially crusading. And I mean, it's things that I would agree with, right? But I mean, once again, stuff where it's sort of like, is that kind of self-evident? And the other thing I've seen him do a lot is ask for people to donate Star Wars collectible card game cards from the old Star Wars CCG from years ago. That's kind of it. That's all. So I don't know. But I did want to mention that because I understand there are some people out there who are sort of like, what the hell's going on with this? And if Rodney Smith voted for Donald Trump, that's Rodney Smith's business. If Rodney Smith loves guns, once again, is his business. And I'm sure there are going to be people out there who would see me saying this and they're like, Jeff's an asshole too, no doubt. It's like, no, remember, I'm not here to police anybody, right? That's why I say it all the time. I'm just as apt to share news from a game company that is owned and operated by transgender folks as I am by someone who is a conservative. Now, granted, neo-Nazis, shit like that, no. Whack jobs, I don't. But people are entitled to their privacy and their private thoughts, even if they are, not something that you would agree with politically, socially, what have you. And that's really my main point is, I share stuff from people of all walks of life, all stripes, all religions, all colors, all of that. If I think their product is worthwhile and you should know about it. That's it. Fleming Heron says, who cares at the end of the day? As long as they aren't really evil people, that's it. That's it. So, Char Aznable hello, welcome aboard. Says, when I game, I like to game. I'm not in the business of politics or social trends. Give me a good game and I'll play it. Just don't any of your, don't bring any of your personal beliefs to the game. Well, I may not go that far, right? Because there are some oddball weirdos out there. So there are games I love, like Twilight Struggle. Love playing Twilight Struggle. But if somebody's a weirdo, I don't care if it's just, I want to play a game. I don't want them being at my table. Char says, I mean, yeah, that's true. Right, exactly. It's like there's people that, like, I play games with many people and I have many friends in the industry that we are oil and water, politically and social trends, whatever, social means, whatever you want to consider, right? I'm very liberal, but we still get along because we understand people have their opinions. They're like assholes, right? So Parker is joining us as real hot takes from Jeff today. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, because I don't think I'm sharing any real hot takes. All right. So we are going to be diving on into the second edition of Brass Empire in just a few moments. It is from Rock Manor Games. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
You've seen the show. It was quite a treat. But now you'd like something to eat, so right this way to the concession stand serving Castleberry's, the best in the land. Yes, sir. Castleberry's is real Southern barbecue. Choice cuts of meat slowly cooked over open pits of smoldering oak coals for honest-to-goodness barbecue flavor. You'll also find hot coffee, cold soft drinks, and delicious ice cream in our snack bar to go with your Castleberry sandwich. Just look at that generous helping of rich, juicy barbecue. Yum, yum. For a real taste thrill, Castleberry's barbecue will fill the...
This volunteer doesn't drink Wilkins instant coffee.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Oh, I do.
Like you crave that corn when it's freshly bobbed. You gotta beat it to the box with the butter on the top. Get with it, man. Start strolling down to the sweets that you're rolling, the best in town. Our candy's real gone, if I'm understood. To all you squares, that means the confection is positively delicious. Cork that stuff. Give me 5. Let me send you into this nutty jive. Go, man, go. It ain't very far. Shake it on down to this cool snack bar. Come on, Jill. Give us a treat. A friendly pepper-upper with a tasty beat.
Drink Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, 'cause it never lets you down.
Frosty, man, frosty.
And now, on with the show.
Yes. Yeah, one thing I should point out is without a laptop to do the video editing, I can't put together new brief intermissions. Thankfully, I have saved loads of them. So, unfortunately, I don't have many Thanksgiving ones. So, there is that. And Shar says, love the channel. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking time out to hang out with the gang. Okay, so tonight we're going to dive on in and take a first look at the second edition. I know it's kind of funny. First look at the second edition of Brass Empire, which is from Rock Manor Games. This is designed by Mike Nabe with artwork provided by Declan Hart. This game is for 1 to 5 players, ages 8 and up, plays in about 30 to 60 minutes. Does normally carry an MSRP of $40. It is currently on sale for $30. Yes. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Brass Empire 2E. Let me get the shrink wrap off here first because I do see we are pulling a good amount of glare. So here's an oddball thing that I should probably mention. If you are curious about this and you go over to the Rock Manor Games website, I don't know if Mike Nate is going to have an opportunity to watch this at any point in time, but got to point out, website needs some tweaks because there are some links that don't work. There are links that take you to the wrong edition of the game. There's incorrect information. So I'm looking at the box here. It says ages 14 and up, which is kind of what I thought it might be. But I took the info. I wasn't staring at this box when I was putting all this together. I took a peek at the website, and the website said ages 8 and up. And I thought, really? That seems weird. This doesn't seem like a game for like small kids. So it says 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 60 minutes. So that's what's on the box. Just letting you know. Should point out that Mike Nade was kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this video with you. These days, very, very important that you know that. I do want to take a look at something here. Strangely enough, I have a limiter on the volume of this microphone, and it is on, but for some strange reason, it seems like the mic is what they would say running hot, which means it's coming out louder. So I don't know. I tell you, OBS Studio just seems like they're taking steps back with this program sometimes, because this just had a new update come out, and I just noticed, I'm like, wow, this is actually quite a bit louder than the filter. And I look, and the filter's on in OBS Studio. Anyway, let's take a look at the back here. A corporate faction desperate for brass awaits your leadership as you make strategic choices to construct buildings, hire employees, and sabotage your opponents. Flaming Heron says maybe this is for really advanced 8-year-old kids. Could be. Brass Empire is a strategic steampunk deck building card game where players battle and sabotage other companies to amass economic wealth and influence. Journey to the world of Cobalt, where an obsession with brass, the most valuable resource in the world, drives corporate greed and corruption. Build your corporation from the ground up by hiring employees and researching powerful steampunk contraptions. Battle and challenge your friends in this game of corporate espionage. All right. Let's jump on in. Gotta be honest, I do not know what the difference might be between the first edition or the second edition, but the first edition is still available for sale, from what I can tell, over at the Rock Manor Games website for $20. So we're gonna roll some dice here. It's a little different with this deck building game. So we got some baggies. We've got some plastic discs, which I'm taking a guess represent brass. So we've got larger ones and smaller ones. So maybe these are 1, these are 5. And we also have 4 decks of cards, plus room for expansions. And yes, there is an expansion to Brass Empire. All right, so let's move this box out of the way here for a moment. And we will take a peek at the rule book. So this includes 55 starting cards. So it's 5 personal starting decks, each containing 7 clerks, 3 union workers, and a mining platform. I always point out, in case you didn't know, I am a fan of deck building games. So we've got 5 corporation reserve decks, 100 labor pool center deck cards, 90 design pool center deck cards, 50 brass tokens. Yes, the small ones are worth 1. The big ones are worth 5. That's a pretty obvious guess. And 10 red dice to track hit points. Ah, okay. So that's what that is for. The game is designed for 1 to 5 players. Each player has a starting deck of 7 clerks. Well, I already told you that. The mining platform starts face up and in play. Take the remaining 10 cards and shuffle them to create each player's starting deck. Each player should select a corporation to represent. Take the recommended reserve deck, 6 cards for that faction, and set it in your play area. Only that player may purchase from their reserve deck. Our recommended corporate reserve cards are marked with a copyright symbol next to the listed corporation and card type. Take all the building and unit cards, shuffle them face down, form the design deck. You're going to do that with the labor deck and the design department deck. Cool. So here's our layout. So we do have a market to buy cards. So it looks like we've got a labor market and we got a design department. It's also a market, essentially. Here's your personal deck. There's your mining platform. Here's your reserve deck. Showing them face up. Okay. Is that what it said? Put them face up? No, just to set them in your play area. Okay, so a breakdown of employees. So we got the card name, the cost to play it. The cost in brass, maybe? I don't know. Corporation and type, there are 5 corporations. Frontier Rail, Omni Edo Corp, McGlynn Clockworks, Harlem Electric, and Windcraft Enterprises. Show card rarity, the effect of the card, brass value of the card. So we got units. So what is the type of unit? So we've got buildings, employees, and units. The cost in labor and construction that you have to spend to acquire the card. What is the rarity? What is its effect? And their attack value and health. Here we got buildings. So it's showing, once again, looks like the same sort of thing, labor and brass. Was it brass? Construction, sorry. And what you get to do, here's our mining platform. So you spend 2 construction to gain 1 brass. That's what the mining platform will do. It is considered a building. If it's destroyed, flip it over. It is not automatically rebuilt at the beginning of your next turn. Instead, the mining platform can be rebuilt at any time for 1 construction. And it has 0 attack and a health of 2. So we've got our turn phases. Got to point out, artwork looks pretty cool. So we have the turn start. We've got our play phase. Play employees from your hand to gain labor, construction, and brass. Spend these resources to acquire new employees, buildings, and units from the center rows. You can purchase any cards from the center row regardless of their corporate faction. All right, then we have an action phase. Units that were played on a previous turn may take 1 action each turn. Mine for brass, attack other units or buildings. And then we end our turn. Place all your played employee cards into your discard pile. Any cards that remain in your hand are also discarded. Draw 5 cards from your personal deck to replenish your hand. Plan out your strategies as other players take their turns. Ending the game. Game ends when the available brass from the mining pool has been exhausted. Our recommended pool sizes are based on the number of players. 2 would be 50, 6 would be 80. So I'm taking a guess. 6 players is with the expansion. Because according to this, it's for 1 to 5 players. So we got gameplay variants, highlights of the rules, and if you want to play solitaire. And we get a bit of background about the corporations of Cobalt, as well as the glossary. Cool, cool. You may be familiar with Rock Manor Games from my first look at Maximum Apocalypse. I think a lot of people out there know about the company because of their fantasy game series, Set a Watch, which actually looks really interesting. I have not ever had an opportunity to take a peek at it, but it does look really interesting. Okay, so now we've got our cards. So what we're going to do here is we are going to zoom on in. And I am going to turn the autofocus off. And lock this focus in. So sorry about that little bit of jitters there. So here we've got our mining platforms. Okay. Here we have clerks. A lot of clerks there. Okay, so they are good for 1 labor is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing that is the labor symbol there. And as with most deck building games, obviously enough, you're going to be sitting there trying to gain more cards than that, better cards, but you're also going to try to cull cards out of your deck as well. I think it's one of the things about deck building games that some people it just doesn't click immediately. And there, of course, are some deck building games you're not really looking to cull your deck, but most of them you do. So here we've got union workers. That gives us +1 construction. So that is that group of cards. So these are actually multiple decks just put together. See, I was trying to see if I could use a little tab to open it up. It's just always faster to use the hobby knife. Well, might as well open these up too while I'm at it. Or at least cut them. Cut your new smile, Daddy-O. If I remember right, I think that's from MST3K. Cut your new smile, Daddy-O. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So it looks like we've got some contraptions. Figure we'll take a look at the other employees that we have. Looks like these are also units. So I think the gray are all labor, right? Come on. Oh, but then we also have, I think these are from factions because of the color border. But as far as employees go, so we've got managers +2 labor, contractors +2 construction. We've also got security guards. Oh, Actually, we've got Vanguard Mercenaries. Which actually has an attack and a health value. Then we have Security Guards. It says dismiss this unit from your hand to gain 3 labor. Not sure what dismissing it might mean. I don't think that would be removing it from the game, like burning the card. I don't know. All right, let's see what else we've got here. So we have some of these contraptions. We're not going to look at every card, but battery turbine, demolish, deal 2 damage to a building or unit. See, I would take a stab that demolishing is removing it from play, burning the card. We have Volt Militia, McGlynn Gumshoe. Ooh, yes. Sorting facility. So we've got buildings. I think these are the factions with these colors here. Jetpack Courier. So these should be your, I'm just taking a guess, these should be your additional cards that you put in your play area if you are playing this faction. That would be my guess. Now, I could be way off base because we do have more cards from those factions. Graph Airman, Steam Cycle, more contractors there. Jimmy Riveter. I will say that the character design, not as sharp as I would, I'd like to see, but at least this kind of stuff looks cool. But then again, gotta keep in mind, Rock Manor Games it's a small company. So at least it's not AI art. Here we got a Tesla Trooper, Chronicler, Chronicer. There are Clockworks units from McGlynn Brass Monument. So here's some of the buildings. Dapper Bodyguard. Dockyard. Interesting. I should also point out that my nephew Cameron, he is a big deck building fan. And his favorite is actually the Alien Legends. And I like it too. I think it's pretty cool. I would like to pick up the 007 Legends or Legendary. I forget if it's Legends or Legendary. I'll have to keep an eye out. See if I can pick that up on the cheap one day. So here we've got the mining platform. So lots of cards here. So we got all the various different cards. Come on. Of course, you need to sort through them all before you begin play, so you can separate them out into their proper decks. So we've got that. We've got the brass. We've got the dice to mark hit points, some baggies, and the rule book. And that is what we find when we take a look inside Brass Empire 2nd edition from Rock Manor Games. And hopefully I will have a review of this in the not too distant future. Sweet. Very nice. Very nice. All righty. Once again, This is for, now we know the real story, right? On the box. It is for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 60 minutes, and normally carries an MSRP of $40. Right now, you can $30 from Rock Manor Games. Sweet. All right. So if you're curious what's cooking this week, got to keep in mind, no show Thursday because it is Thanksgiving here in the U.S. So obviously enough, there will not be a show. Stay tuned, though, because on thegaminggang.com, I will be sharing a list of some Black Friday, Cyber Monday gaming deals, and they are not the usual Amazon, oh, here's the stuff that's on sale at Amazon, and here's my affiliate code at the end of it. No, I'm actually sharing deals that are available from game publishers, such as our friends over at Free League Publishing or Columbia Games. So I'm gathering all that up. We'll point out if you are aware of a Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal from a game publisher, shoot me an email, let me know, so I will get that out. Parker asks, do I review each installment of the Pathfinder review modules? Also, will I be reviewing the Book of Many Things? Don't know about the second one, because as I've mentioned before, Wizards of the Coast is not overly pleased with me because I don't toe the line. That's why I had to wait weeks to check out Planescape. So they may have like reached their last nerve with me. I don't know. Yes, I normally have reviews of the Pathfinder Adventure Path installments. We switch off. So right now, I am actually doing the reviews for Season of Ghosts, and they are video reviews. A lot of times, Sammy Uhas, who does role-playing game written reviews for me, tackles some adventure paths as well. But yes, I will be reviewing the second part of Season of Ghosts. I got to be honest, I don't have it. I mentioned that earlier in the show. Strangely enough, I have not seen the Pathfinder / Starfinder releases for this month, including the new core books that came out this month. But I don't even have the digital. I got digital at the core, yes, because they allowed reviewers copies of those. But I don't have the physical, like part 2 of Season of Ghosts. I don't have the physical, nor do I have the digital yet. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some sort of a hiccup. But then again, I also pointed out, I don't think the new marketing person over at Paizo Inc. is all that enamored by the Gaming Gang and myself either. So I don't know. I don't know. But yes, normally that is the case. So Fleming Aaron says they need to start paying you. The Madman says, for those who are interested in or enjoy Savage Worlds now through Tuesday, PEG, which is Pinnacle Entertainment Group, is offering virtual tabletop content at 50% off and PDFs at 25% off. I will throw that into the news, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday news. Wish they were doing some sales on physical stuff, though. And of course, don't forget, Black Friday will mark the Black Friday sale over at Drive-Thru RPG, which tends to be one of their best sales, if not their absolute best sale that they have of the year over at Drive-Thru RPG. So anyway, so I was saying, what's on the show this week? So no show Thursday. But tomorrow, we are actually going to take a look at Vinyl Jukebox from Talon Strike Studio, or Talon's Strike. No, it is singular. I had it right the first time. Talon Strikes Studio. And you may recall I reviewed it's not a huge box, but it is a bigger box. It's more than 2 players. This is a 2-player edition of vinyl, and we are also going to take a look at the Season's Greetings expansion. Hooray! So we'll be taking a look at that on tomorrow's show. The Madman says, unfortunately, they're likely to miss. They have some prep to do for Thanksgiving dinner. I completely understand that. I won't be shocked to find more people probably listening to tomorrow's show than actually watching it as they do things to get ready for Thanksgiving. Also should point out, I did receive a package from Draco Studios. Now remember, different company than Draco Ideas. So Draco Studios sent me Great Worms of Draka. I was like, okay, that's cool. Because they had reached out with a Kickstarter of theirs. And there was another company that I said, well, you got to realize, I share Kickstarter news from companies that I've actually had an opportunity to work with and do reviews of stuff. And they're like, we've never sent you anything? I'm like, no. So they're like, oh, well, we'll take care of that. So this is a 5e book in their Dragonborn setting. I think that's, double check. Oh, Dragon Bond, sorry. Their Dragon Bond setting. And they also have a board game. I think it might be card driven, which is also set in their Dragon Bond fantasy setting. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I don't have it handy, but I will be, fingers crossed, shooting a video of it hopefully in the near future. And that is the Dunwich Horror Illustrated from Free League Publishing. Yes, nice, nice. I will wrap up by also pointing out that some people are kind of confused on, well, Jeff, how are you doing a live stream, but you can't do video editing? Because the live stream is on a desktop, and I pointed this out last week. I have an AMD graphic card because it's also an AMD processor, and I did not realize that AMD Radeon graphics do not play well with DaVinci, which is what I use for all my video editing. The reason why I'm doing the live streams is because there's no video editing. Everything's done. The only thing I have to use is Photoshop in order to create the news slides, the date up in the corner. It's just Photoshop. So I can't create any sort of opening scenes like, I have the openings for first looks and reviews, things like that. I can't edit any reviews. So if I'm talking about something, even first looks, if I'm talking about something and I kind of stumble over something, I can't edit that out. So that's why you are seeing live streams, but you are not seeing currently any reviews or first looks from the Gaming Gang. That is why. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and most Thursdays right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also inform you if and when I ever upload other videos, such as my review of Warhammer 40K Roleplay Imperium Maledictum. Yes, I screwed it up. I had a video shot. I had to do some editing with it. And of course, once again, I can't do any editing. So it sits. Yes. But I will point out that I have been reading a lot of RPG stuff. So there will be loads and loads of reviews. Alrighty. Anywho, if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watch live and engaged in chat, a bigger thank you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're also keeping each other company while I'm unboxing a board game or paging through a tabletop role-playing game. But of course, I know a lot of you out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very, very much for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. And I hope to see you tomorrow. And of course, as always, I certainly hope all of you out there get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.